Welcome to Get Real with Eddie, where we delve deep into the world of real estate with your host, the designated managing broker of Exit Real Estate Specialist, Eddie Rudiger.
And a good morning to you, Nancy. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. I am just enjoying the springish weather.
Yes, we have bunnies and magnolias blooming.
Well, that's good. Pull your mic a little closer up to you. There you go. A little low. Perfect. Hopefully.
There.
Yes, that's definitely perfect.
There.
Let's get into some real estate. Recession has been thrown out a lot lately. And I wanted to go over...
Has it ever gone away?
No, it really hasn't. We've been hearing the word recession for 2 years now. Maybe 3.
Yeah. And I imagine someday, if they say it, for long enough period, we eventually will have... I mean, because that's just the ups and downs of the economy. But you say it, and you say it, and you say it, and it doesn't happen, and we're fine.
And I agree. I mean, you could... We're going to have a recession some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural market correction.
Yes.
Okay? And that's a recession for the real estate market. That's a recession for the market as a whole. Now, for the real estate market, those are very, very less more likely to happen than the recessions as a whole from a GDP standpoint.
Yes.
Okay?
And one doesn't necessarily affect the other.
No. So, that's what I want to get.
Okay. See? Taking a bridge.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that.
A recession does not mean falling real estate prices. So, looking at the last 6 recessions, okay?
Yes.
1980, 1981, 1991, 2001, 2008, and 2020. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Prices have gone up 4 out of the last 6 times.
Yes.
80, it went up 6.1%, and 81, it went up 3.5%. 91, it went down 1.9%.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Well, yeah, considering after 91 we had how long of a run?
Yeah.
All the way up to 07. So 2021 was a recession. That was the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
Real estate prices went up 6.6%. 2008
Dun, dun, dun.
was the recession of the Great Recession.
Yes.
Was the recession of the banking industry. I would hate when they say it was a real estate recession because it wasn't. It was a banking recession because of ill-will banking practices.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that affected mortgages. That affected things where the prices did go down 19.7% because you couldn't get a mortgage.
Yeah.
It caused a chain reaction in the market that was just insane.
Yeah. It was rough.
Yeah. The recession in 2020, 6% increase in the market. And what was it? 2022, we had 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, I think it was. Or was it 23? It was 22 or 23. And they didn't count that as a recession because some board said, oh no, we have to declare it a recession. And they didn't declare it. But it fit the definition of 2 quarters of negative growth. Prices still went up there. So if you want to even count that as a recession, because I know some do, some don't.
Yeah.
Real estate prices still went up.
Right. Yeah. They haven't stopped going up.
So just because there is a recession does not mean real estate prices will fall.
Right.
However, and Nancy's going to like this part.
However,
mortgage rates typically decline in a recession.
whoop, whoop.
In 1980, rates went down 4.5%. 1981, rates went down. They went down by 5%. Everybody's going, wait a minute, how could rates go down to 5%? They were, no, because rates were like at 12 and 18%.
Yeah.
You guys are crying about a 6 to 6.5% interest rate. You have no idea what rates were at one point. Historically, rates are still under the average of 7.2.
Truth.
1991, rates went down 2.5%. 2001, rates went down 0.63%.
Yes.
08, rates went down 1.13%. That was the Great Recession. Rates went down 1.13%. And in 2020, during COVID, rates went down 1%.
Yes.
Because we were at like 4.5 already.
Yeah.
And we went down to like 3.5. So that is what historically happens during a recession.
Yeah. As far as housing, and you stop and think about it. Everybody needs some place to live.
Yes. Now,
It's a stable need.
with all of that being said,
Mm-hmm.
if we do get into a recession, and we'll see first quarter GDP numbers coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't seen them. I don't know if they came out or not yet. I'll be honest. But if we do get into a recession, I do not see rates going back to 3%
No.
anytime soon. Our inflation numbers are still high. There's some things going on in that where the Fed's not going to be cutting the borrowing rate. And you're just not, I don't see a 3% rate. Now, that doesn't mean rates could get into a roller coaster effect where one day you may see a rate down at 5.7, or you might see a rate at 6.2, and the next day it's back up at 6.5. And you need to be ready to lock that rate when it's available.
Yes.
And how do you lock the rate? You got to get a house under contract, which means you got to be out looking, which means you got to put your team together, which means you got to get pre-approved and have that ready to go.
Be ready. Ready to rock. Ready to real estate.
Because there are some national housing trends I'm watching, and I want to kind of go over those.
Okay.
All right? So right now, supply is up for February, up 27.5% this year. We had 800 nationally. We had 847, 825 active listings. Last year, in 2024, we had around 664,000. So we're at 847,000 from 664,000. Keep in mind, a normal year, historically, we start the year off with 1 million listings.
So we're still way under
Correct.
a quote-unquote normal average market.
But listings are going up.
Yes.
Home prices are still going up. But they only increased by 3.8% year over year.
Yeah, we're not seeing double digit in most markets.
No, this is a historic normal average increase.
Yes.
3.8% is the historic normal average of buying a home, going up 3 to 4%
A year.
a year.
Yes.
So it is completely fine. Now, market time. This is the misleading number, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is the clickbait number.
Market time's up 8.2%. Oh my! Oh no! Okay. It's up 8.2%, but it's still sitting at 66 days. 2 months to sell your house.
Yes. In an average market. In nationally
Nationally
because it's
speaking.
less than that here.
Yeah. Oh no! We're at 1 to 1.5 months.
Yeah.
Not even 1.5. It's like 1 to 1.2, 1.3 months supply. You're selling houses in 30 days in our market.
Oh yeah. They are listed to closed in about 30 days. 30 to 40 days. That's
Buyers,
no time.
with all of this, buyers have to keep in mind they have more negotiation power today than they did earlier. And they need to know how to use it. All right? Because negotiation is key. What it means is you may be regaining some negotiation power that can translate into savings, perks, or even better terms on the purchase. All right? So take advantage of what levers you have in front of you and pull them. Pull the market data for that town. Pull that market data for that subdivision. You should know what number they're getting and how they're getting it. So, yeah, that's kind of what you need to be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's on the table for negotiating? Price?
Everything.
They always put closing costs in this, but it's not closing costs the way you think. All right? You can't really say, I want you to pay the closing costs.
Right.
You have to put a number down, and that number is a credit one way or the other. All right, we'll give you $5,000 for closing costs. Whether it's the buyer giving an extra $5,000 to the seller, or the seller giving a $5,000 credit back to the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think of closing costs, oh, I just want you to pay the closing costs. It will never make it through underwriting. It never makes it past the attorneys. You've got to put a flat number in there. They're usually 2 to 5% is the closing costs. But you got to have in there. Home warranties are a huge, huge negotiating piece. Gives the buyers a great peace of mind.
Oh, yeah.
And costs so little in the deal.
Yeah, in the great grand scheme of things.
$500 to $1,000. I mean, if you really want to go all out, you might get up to $1,200, maybe $1,500.
I mean, that's the
Taj Mahal
Of-
golden toilet.
of home warranties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can negotiate the home repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, what did you do in your offer? Did you write the offer inspections with no repair requests, or inspections and we can do a repairs request?
Right.
What stays, what goes? Washer, dryer, dishwasher, refrigerator. I am one of those that, I don't know what you are, Nancy, but if it says oven goes out or refrigerator goes out, I may still put it in my offer. I may still make the request.
Mm-hmm.
And the agent comes back at me and goes, they're not leaving the oven. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to negotiate that then, aren't we? Because my client wants the oven right now. So what can we do in exchange?
Mm-hmm.
But just because they put it on the MLS doesn't necessarily mean I don't ask for it.
And that's where all those blanks that listing agents leave on the sheet when I make my offer, we're requesting everything.
Yeah.
Whether you have it on that listing or not.
Yeah. Closing date. So many times you can negotiate a closing date out.
Oh, yeah.
I had a client that was willing to let them stay in the house but not close because they didn't want to do a rent back. They're like, we'll let you close whenever you want, but they had to close before they bought the next house. And they refused to look at any other options. And that seller, $35,000 to $40,000 maybe loss on that deal. They ended up selling for a lot less.
Yeah.
I had the buyer. And I didn't understand. To me, it did make $35,000.
Yeah.
I can live in a hotel for a month for less than $35,000. I mean, and that's an
Well, meals and stuff, but still, for 35,000, okay, for a month,
yeah,
I'll take a $5,000 hit to get 30
yeah,
to clear another 30 grand.
yeah. It made no sense whatsoever on the aspect of what they were doing, in my view. Don't put yourself in a box when you're negotiating, whether you're the buyer or the seller.
Right.
Be open-minded. Look at the bottom line. The bottom line, I think, in my opinion, all that matters. Now, I get it. Is living in a hotel an inconvenience? Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, and they might have, I mean, bottom line isn't necessarily always the best deal for the client.
No,
It could be logistics, it could be, that they need to move, they need to whatever.
but if we're talking a difference of 20 or 30 grand,
$30,000, you better think about it.
I would be thinking about it. If we're talking a difference of $5,000,
Yeah.
I mean, because we've both had deals where there was a less than $5,000 difference,
Yes.
and the seller took the lesser of the offer because the terms were better. That's why you got to look at the closing date and you got to look at all these other factors.
Right?
You just had one, if I'm correct, that was
Yeah.
one of those lines.
Yes. That the highest offer wasn't necessarily the best deal for my client.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, I want to take a look at Joliet this week because we saw some trends that said that the market was moving down in February, but we had some really, in my opinion, kind of nasty weather January and February, which I really think has put this market in a slow start. And now I think the weather's starting to change, and we had a decent weather month in March, minus that 24 hours where, as my son said, it went from zombie apocalypse to tornadoes to frozen the next day.
Yeah. We did have some really roller coaster weird weather.
And March wasn't as bad. It was roller coaster, but we had some really nice days.
Oh, yeah.
And we had some movement. I think where February and January were just some colder, just brutal.
Bleak.
Yes.
Just
So
bleak.
I really don't think the market was moving. So Joliet is up 206 to 260,000. It's up 8.3% from last year at this time. It's been sitting at around 260 since about October. So we've been holding strong and pretty flat on price growth since October. So on the median sales price. On the average sales price, it's up 264.9. A slight tick up. It's up 7.8% from the same time last year in March. And it's been sitting around that 260 range also since about October. So not a bad price for your average price, because that takes in a lot of Joliet. You got a big dynamic housing stock when it comes to Joliet.
Yeah. All kinds of housing in Joliet.
So average list price is $281,574, up 11.6% year over year. The average market time is still pretty low. We're at 29 days. That's down 6.5% from last year. That's showing a good demand, in my opinion. We've been sitting around under that 30-day mark since May of last year and haven't really gotten back up to that 30-day mark at all. So market time on the average is pretty well. It's also been pretty steady around 27 to 29 days. The median market time has also been pretty flat since May of 2023. We're sitting right now at 12 days, up 9.1% on the market time there. So median is up 9.1%, while the average is down 6.5%. Month supply. This is what I wanted to see. Month supply in Joliet, we're calculating the numbers. Always fun to do this as we do it. Is up 33.3% for March, up to 1.2 months. It's been sitting at 1.2 months since December. and it has not been at 1.2 months, honestly, since April of 2021. So we are still extremely low on the month supply for Joliet, and that is taking in consideration the number of new listings that have come on the market. We are up 15.6% in new listings. That is 1,786 new listings over a 12-month time frame, yearly adjusted. So I think the new listings is up is a good sign of people looking to move. While we only see closed sales up 0.8%, and I think that shows you the impact of that weather in January and February.
Yeah.
I mean, that weather
closes
were only up 0.8%,
Yeah.
and I really think it was there. However, March was up 3% in under contracts. So that should give us a good closing ratio going into April.
Yeah. People were actually out looking.
Yeah. So, and houses for sale are up 35.4%. So there is an increase in the number of houses for sale since last year at the same time. Showings per listing, which is kind of an indicator we look at to see market activity, is down in March 27.1%. And it's been on a downward slope since about December of 2023. So we're seeing the demand kind of been falling off. Not huge, but enough. I mean, we're down 27.1% since last year, down to 8.6. Last year at this time, March, we are at 11.8 showings per listing. So some interesting numbers coming out of Joliet, honestly.
It to me, okay, you're showing less. You have less showings, but the buyers are serious.
I think the weather affected, because like I said, we still had some crazy weather in March. It was better, but it was still kind of some insane weather. And we still had some peaks in the interest rate again in March.
Yeah.
So I think that's still holding some stuff off. Now, the interest rate has been overall coming down for like the last 6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, so we are moving in the right direction. I just don't know if the interest rate moving downward that message is really getting out there, because it's almost static. We're talking like it's not even moving a half a point. It's moving like 0.05 of a point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like half of a point. So it's just been such a slow moving ratio downward that it's just not affecting the market and getting that spring going on, and it all depends on where you're looking and what you're looking for too in Joliet.
Very true.
I mean, so there is such a diverse housing stock, from older homes to newer homes to condos to duplexes to everything in between. You've got a lot to look at.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of different school districts. You've got Plainfield, you've got Joliet, you've got some
Minooka.
Some Minooka in Joliet. You've got I think some Joliet may go to Lockport. So
yeah,
there's some Joliet addresses. They may be unincorporated.
It may be Lockport.
Yeah, that go over. You get over on the east side, kind of more downtown Joliet, and you start getting out near Bruce Road, stuff like that. Some of that is still Joliet.
I was going to say maybe Bruce Road out along in there. That's unincorporated.
Yep.
That would go to Lockport and not Central.
Mm-hmm. So you got a little bit of Joliet that's more unincorporated that goes to New Lenox.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of different factors that come into play with the market. So
when you think about Joliet, it's huge.
It is huge. So all right, want to talk about the thing that's most important going into the spring market. So keep it here with Get Real with Eddie.
Welcome to the Lions Club. Being a lion means knowing that kindness matters. We believe in changing the world by serving the needs of our local communities. More than 1.4 million lions around the world are responding to local and global challenges with kindness and care. Come volunteer with us. Your Lions journey starts here. The Crest Hill Lions Club invites you to reach out to your local Lions Club to learn about how you can be a part of a community and bringing passionate, kind-hearted people together to serve local needs. They build relationships that lead to opportunities. In short, when lions serve, life improves, and the community grows. Grow with us. The Crest Hill Lions Club would also like to thank our sponsors who help with our yearly events, such as the car show and picnic at St. Joe's Park, and those who attend and support our Easter egg hunts, Shanahan Bingo, and many more events. The Crest Hill Lions Club meets the first and third Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. For more information on being a lion, go to lionsclub.org to start your journey today. That's lionsclub.org.
And get real with Eddie. I want to bring to your attention the Herbert Trackman Planetarium at Joliet Junior College. My son loves this. They offer free shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's perfect for stargazers. The show provides excellent astronomical instruction and entertainment for no charge. That's right, it is free on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. The planetarium features a 30-foot diameter dome, a new OmniStar digital planetarium projector. During the shows, you can enjoy sky tours using the projector and PowerPoint presentations covering a wide range of astronomical topics. For more information, please visit jjc.edu/planetarium. And for you educators out there, they are open for field trip bookings. So go to jjc.edu/planetarium.
Are you ready to make your next move in real estate? Look no further than Exit Real Estate Specialists, your innovative leader in the industry. At Exit, we're not just about transactions. We're about building relationships and fulfilling dreams. Step into a community of empathetic, well-trained professionals dedicated to your success. Our Exit Real Estate professionals are more than just agents. They're your trusted advisors and allies in the journey of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Whether you're selling your home or searching for your next investment, trust Exit to provide an excellent experience from start to finish. Our commitment to putting people first means you receive personalized attention and support, ensuring your real estate goals are met with success. Call us today at 815-823-5478 or visit exitrealestatespecialist.com to learn more. Exit Real Estate Specialists, exceeding your expectations every step of the way.
Doing everything for you except the moving, and be glad. It's Get Real with Eddie.
All right.
What
is the most important thing ever in the spring market?
You want me to tell you?
I do.
Pre-approval.
Yes.
You've got to have it. You've got to have it.
Otherwise, by the time you get it, the house is already under
Contract.
So what is a pre-approval? All right, pre-approval gives you a sense of how much a lender is willing to let you borrow for your home loan. To determine that number, the lender starts by looking at your financial history. Here are some of the things that can impact your history according to Yahoo Finance. First, your debt to income ratio. How much money you owe versus how much money you make. They usually look at this on a monthly basis. This is also known as your debt to income ratio or your DTI. All right? Second, your income and employment status. They're looking to verify if you've had a steady income and feel confident about your ability to pay the loan back. Did you just start your job or have you been there for 10 years? Your credit score. The higher it is, the better it is. You may qualify to borrow more, but this is your history of how often you pay your debts on time. Which gets into your payment history of you paying your bills on time. The lender wants to know how much of a risk they have.
Are you a chronic late pay? Do you pay everything on time, in full? What kind of banking history you have? Yep.
Freddie Mac explains, keep in mind that the loan amount in the pre-approval letter is the lender's maximum offer. Ultimately, you should only borrow an amount you are comfortable repaying. I disagree with that statement. Because the lender does not always put the maximum amount on those pre-approval letters. You cannot make that assumption.
Right.
If you are making that assumption, you are wrong.
Well, and because on that pre-approval letter, they aren't necessarily taking into account the taxes or the HOA fees, etc., that might be on that house. If you have a $360,000 house with a $120 a year HOA fee,
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit different than a $360,000 house with a $800 a month HOA fee.
Mm-hmm. That's $800 a month. That's a high HOA.
Yeah, well,
So I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible.
You
I've seen
go up
them.
to Geneva and up around in there, it's not maybe $800 a month, but it's very high.
Condos in the city.
Yeah,
You get some condos in the city, you're easily looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 a month.
yeah.
So, but the
Even
reason
the $800 a year around here is not that. I've seen plenty of places where it's $800 or $1,000 a year.
Yeah, a year, absolutely. So, I mean, the biggest thing is you want the pre-approvals because you want your offer to stand out. All right. Zillow explains having a pre-approval letter handy while you're shopping for a home can also help you act quickly once you found a home you love. The letter shows potential sellers that you're a serious buyer who has the financial means to close on the home. In a competitive market, an offer with a pre-approval letter attached will stand out among other offers that don't include one. Increase your chances of your offer being accepted. Get the pre-approval. And honestly, you're just going to get thrown out.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, there's not even a chance they're going to look at the offer. I mean, it is kind of standard. I can't believe we have to sit here and talk about a pre-approval, but there are some people that are doing it.
Yeah. Well, and agents have to relay all offers, but a seller, when seeing pre-approval, a couple of offers on the table with pre-approvals versus somebody with just a wing and a prayer and no pre-approval, gee, which one are you going to take?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Did you pause your plans? Did you decide to stop? Well, you might need to get a pre-approval again, but here's why you might want to hit play again on looking at what's going on in the market. All right? There are more inventory options right now. All right? We just ran data on Joliet. We've looked at the rate data from, realtor.com that says we're up 27.5%, because we are. So there are more options for you in the market right now to buy. You may find that house you've been looking for when you couldn't find it before.
Yeah, now's the time to get to looking. If you're thinking about listing and you were worried about not being able to find some place to go, well, now's the time to really start looking again.
Well, and here's the thing. If you really came off, if you were somebody that was looking in 21 or 22, all right, in 22, houses were on average 41 days. In 22, they were about 3 days here.
Yeah.
Now, the average going into 2025 so far this year is 66 days on market time. Here, I think we're about 30 days market time, depending on where you're at.
Yeah. Just over 30 days.
Yeah, that's the average. Don't get me wrong. There's still houses selling in a week
Yeah.
or 2 weeks. All right? But there are more options for you to buy, and the houses are staying on longer. So I understand there was a lot of people that got burnt out and just walked away in 21, 22.
Oh, yeah. Don't blame them.
I don't blame them either.
It's rough.
It was rough. But now may be a good moment to go after a property. And the rates are slowly coming down. Now, I get it. They're not the rates of 21 and 22. You missed that boat.
Yeah. That all those boats, all the boats sailed.
So you have to just readjust what you're looking for. Maybe you don't get a house with a basement. Maybe you're looking at something with a slab. Maybe you're looking at a tri-level instead of a 2-story, or a quad instead of a 2-story, and you really wanted a 2-story. Maybe it's a 2-car garage instead of the 3-car garage.
I was just going to say, maybe it's not as big a garage. Or as big a lot.
Maybe the lot's not as big. Let's be honest, everybody was going to larger lots during COVID because you couldn't take the kids to the playground. You couldn't take the kids, to a park.
Yeah.
Now, all right, we're going old school. Go play in the backyard.
Yeah, right?
That's what I was told. Go play in the backyard. So, they used to wrap that stake around my neck to get the dog to play with me. No? All right. But anyways, the options are there, and I get it that it was very, very stressful before. All right? Hannah Jones, Senior Economic Research Analyst at Realtor.com, notes, there are more homes for sale than in the last few years, which means the market pace is a bit more manageable with longer days on market, and many sellers are more flexible. Though buyers still faced housing costs, and they may be a bit more give in the market, which could give them more time to make a decision, even in the busy spring and summer months. So what are some of the indicators, in my view, of it? Did it just come on the market? Or was there a price change just done? If those things have happened in the last 3 to 5 days, you could be looking at the house going off a market soon.
Yes.
It could be looking at a price reduction. You could be looking at, not a price reduction, you could be looking at multiple offers. So, if you're thinking of waiting, it doesn't mean it's going to be harder to sell the house. Because keep in mind, we are still 23% below the pre-pandemic pricing. All right? 23% in inventory pre-pandemic. That's still a huge amount of listings not in the market. All right. Still looking for sellers because I got a buyer. And I got a buyer, like I said last week, we're still looking out in Lamont. They're looking for a 2-story most likely, and they're down in through Mokina into Frankfurt. All right, I got another one that's looking anywhere from New Lenox, Mokina through Frankfurt. They need a first floor bedroom though, 4 bedrooms pretty much. They may do a 3, but most likely 4. That one will take a ranch. The other one will take a ranch also, I'll be honest. And then I have another buyer that is looking through Shanahan up to Shorewood through Plainfield, maybe Minooka, and that one needs a first floor bedroom. So that one would prefer a 3-car garage also. So, if you're thinking of selling and this just described your house really quickly, give me a call at 815-823-5478. You still have some buyers out there looking because we've sold all our listings.
Yes.
I understand that this market's, listings are up, but we've sold everything. What do you got?
Everything's under contract. I have 3 buyers as well. One is looking for a 55-plus community, Plainfield, Romeoville, Shorewood even, this area. She's looking for at least 2-bedroom, and it has to be ranch. It has to be a ranch. Can be attached or detached. Another buyer's looking for 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 2-bath. Does need to have a basement. Looking in Joliet, Plainfield, south end of Plainfield, Joe Field.
Hate that word.
I know you do. So I said it. That area. And my last one is always looking for a good investment. So if you have something that you might think foot the bill, give me a call, 815-545-1162.
All right, after the break, I want to talk some economics, so keep it here with Get Real with Eddie.
It's Eddie Rudiger from Exit Real Estate Specialists. And Get Real with Eddie. I want to bring to your attention the Herbert Trackman Planetarium at Joliet Junior College. My son loves this. They offer free shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's perfect for stargazers. The show provides excellent astronomical instruction and entertainment for no charge. That's right, it is free on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. The planetarium features a 30-foot diameter dome, a new OmniStar digital planetarium projector. During the shows, you can enjoy sky tours using the projector and PowerPoint presentations covering a wide range of astronomical topics. For more information, please visit jjc.edu/planetarium. And for you educators out there, they are open for field trip bookings. So go to jjc.edu/planetarium.
Welcome to the Lions Club. Being a lion means knowing that kindness matters. We believe in changing the world by serving the needs of our local communities. More than 1.4 million lions around the world are responding to local and global challenges with kindness and care. Come volunteer with us. Your Lions journey starts here. The Crest Hill Lions Club invites you to reach out to your local Lions Club to learn about how you can be a part of a community and bringing passionate, kind-hearted people together to serve local needs. They build relationships that lead to opportunities. In short, when lions serve, life improves, and the community grows. Grow with us. The Crest Hill Lions Club would also like to thank our sponsors who help with our yearly events, such as the car show and picnic at St. Joe's Park, and those who attend and support our Easter egg hunts, Shanahan Bingo, and many more events. The Crest Hill Lions Club meets the first and third Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. For more information on being a lion, go to lionsclub.org to start your journey today. That's lionsclub.org.
Are you ready to make your next move in real estate? Look no further than Exit Real Estate Specialists, your innovative leader in the industry. At Exit, we're not just about transactions. We're about building relationships and fulfilling dreams. Step into a community of empathetic, well-trained professionals dedicated to your success. Our Exit Real Estate professionals are more than just agents. They're your trusted advisors and allies in the journey of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Whether you're selling your home or searching for your next investment, trust Exit to provide an excellent experience from start to finish. Our commitment to putting people first means you receive personalized attention and support, ensuring your real estate goals are met with success. Call us today at 815-823-5478 or visit exitrealestatespecialist.com to learn more. Exit Real Estate Specialists, exceeding your expectations every step of the way.
It's Get Real with Eddie, where everyone deserves the opportunity of home.
I love these little studies. The economic impact of a typical home sale.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting.
I love these. So existing home sales have a $60,287 impact. This is a single house. All right? This is income generated from real estate industry, commissions, fees, moving expenses, things like that. Total impact, 28% of this transaction, $35,114. All right?
Yep.
Expenditures related to a home purchase, furnishings and remodeling, $5,620, a 4.5% impact. This is all going into your local economy.
Yes. When someone buys a home, this is the amount of money that goes into the local economy.
Multiplier of housing-related expenditures, all right? So 15.6% of this impacts it, about $19,539. I don't really know what they are counting as multiplier of housing-related expenditures. So, because moving was on, I guess it would be, no, moving's in the first number. And I don't know where what that is.
Industries, yeah, it's kind of.
I don't know what the related expenditures would be, but they've got a number, and this is from NAR, so National Association of Realtors put this number out. Now, $60,287 goes into the local economy. That's on an existing house.
Yeah.
If you're buying new construction, you have actually $125,314 in the economic impact, because 65,027 goes into the new construction of building that home. The plumbers, the electricians,
Yeah.
the carpenters, all of those, the roofers, the
Landscapers.
Yes.
Everybody. Yep.
$65,000 impact to a community
Per home.
per home. 51.9% of that new construction goes back in from the build itself. So these building not only gives more people places to live, it helps the local economy and stimulates the local economy greatly. So the National Association of Home Builders explains housing is a significant job creator. In fact, for every single family home built, enough economic activity is generated to sustain 3 full-time jobs for a year.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's just the amount of impact one sale has. One sale has is just enormous.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And it also brings more generated purchasing in the community, because you move in, now you're buying things locally. You're going to the local grocery store. You're going to the local pet store. You're going to the,
well, you also get more national brands coming in,
yeah.
which can also help lower prices for your community or raise them. It depends on what the brand is.
Depends on
Yeah.
what it is.
Some people, I always use the green coffee monster. They will only move in if you have a certain number of households or house
Yeah,
rooftops in an area.
true.
And so they look at those numbers and look at those demographics, and that's how they decide where they're going to put their next store. Now, whether you agree with paying that for much for a cup of coffee or not, that is up to you. But, I mean, so some people say, well, it increases the price of coffee. Some people say it decreases the price of coffee. I still, even though I don't like coffee, when I always see it online, I always find it funny that the number one coffee chain in Illinois is still Dunkin' Donuts. So
Yeah.
a
A lot of people don't want to pay the exorbitant amounts of
Well, and
money.
they
But
just
you
want a
have
cup
your-
of coffee.
You have your other local coffee vendors.
That they come up now to compete because there's a gap left in, because now they're increasing, brand or product desire, not brand desire,
right.
but product
desire.
Yeah, they increase the product desire because of the national brand, and now you have little
Local businesses that are popping up, which is awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is pluses and minuses, but it comes down to having those households, and those rooftops and that rooftop count to bring in, other businesses and other things.
Mm-hmm.
They look for those opportunities and to be by the consumer. And having that aspect, I mean, it's such a huge impact. It really is. And I got to give cities some credit. They have a hard job. It's a fair market. You want the right mix of businesses, but you also want to just, okay, well, if a business is going to open, let it open. If it fails, it should fail on its own. You know what I mean? As long as they're meeting the terms of what the usage is under the zoning, I don't think a city should say, no, we want that or we don't want that, unless it's something that really has a moral impact, I guess you could say, into a community. But that's few and far between.
Yeah, by and large, if it's a little local restaurant versus a chain restaurant.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Well, I was looking more morally like, okay, well, they're going to put a strip club in. All right, but that's usually covered under zoning.
Right. That's a whole different.
Yeah, that's a whole different aspect. So, I mean, and most zoning for most cities either allow that, don't allow that, have their limits to what it can be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just depends on the venue and it depends on the location. So,
they're not going to put it next to the school or
Oh, please no.
etc.
Please, we've already borderline having that conversation with my son. I am not ready to go down that road.
It'll come soon enough.
And it will.
It
but
will.
No, I don't think he's ready for it. And
You're
he's
not
already
ready. You're certainly not ready for it.
No, I'm not, because he started asking questions, and I turned around and I kind of answered it, but then kind of said, "Oh, we'll talk about that when you get older." And then I got yelled at later on that night, going, "He's asking, you need to answer." That's my wife's opinion. If he's asking about it, give him an answer.
Give him an age-appropriate answer.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I don't think I was ready for him to ask that question yet. So
You
no,
never are.
I wasn't.
You're always caught.
I
Yeah.
am now. If he comes back at me, I am now kind of prepared and ready for it. So, to how, because I didn't know how far I should go with my answer. But yeah, so getting back into this, now that I'm sweating bullets over here, yeah, the 125,000. That's just huge.
That's a lot of money to pump into an economy per house.
Per house. I mean, so you can see why, it's such a huge advantage when you start seeing households going up in communities and what it can bring in. And then you get into teardowns and remodels and all kinds of other things that are done. I mean, you look at some of these areas and communities that are pretty much landlocked, and they've built out all their open land. So
Yeah.
I saw something in one of the skyscrapers may be getting torn down. I can't remember what building it was. I don't think it was the NBC building, but it was something. There's talk that I guess the building's up for sale,
Oh.
and they could buy it like $44 million or something it was.
Yeah. And
Tear it down and put something up there, because the occupancy rate on that building, because it's so old, is very low.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people going to it. So there is a good chance that could come down and you could get one of these monstrous, who knows, maybe we'll have the tallest building in the world again. So,
Never know.
yeah. So the Sears Tower is number, I think, 10 on the list now, or 11, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
it's
the
still,
top 5, I don't think.
and it's still the Sears Tower. I don't care what anybody
It'll
else
always
said.
be the Sears Tower.
Right. So, all right, that wraps it up for Get Real with Eddie. Don't forget, check us out online, talking about your largest investment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at getrealwitheddie.com.
Thanks for listening. Eddie Rudiger is the designated managing broker and owner of Exit Real Estate Specialists, located at 2750 Caton Farm Road, Joliet. License number 481014247. For questions, call Eddie at 815-823-5478.